to the Gaming Roundtable. Pull up a chair if you're able, grab you a cold one if you must. But the point is, here's my whole thing. So this is episode 61 called Lootbox Debacle Part 2. I'm actually normally don't do a whole lot of the same, as far as goes with videos are concerned. I'm playing a little Technomancer here, but there's a reason why I'm playing this to kind of prove a point. Uh, anyway, so let me talk a little bit just before I continue the game. So this Lootbox Debacle Part 2. So today I went on Yahoo and I seen that EA was basically saying that characters in the new Star Wars Battlefront 2 uh, character heroes, Luke Skywalker, Leia, Vader, and etc., are actually not playable to begin with. They are actually found in the loot crates. It's pretty much sparked a big outrage. EA has yet to comment on it, considering that these are heroes that were readily available in the first game, or the third game, so to speak, Star Wars EA's version of Battlefront that came out 2 years ago. Here's the whole thing. I want to talk about that a little bit. I also want to talk about. I've been a long time wrestling fan. I grew up with wrestling. I've been watching it since I was about 5, and I'm 43, so it's a long time. Now, I have not really kept up with it except for reading match results and stuff, because I really feel like the WWE product is terrible and has terrible writing and terrible, just all the way around. This is the worst time I've ever seen for wrestling. It's just really bad. It's just bad all the way around. But I want to talk a little bit about how I still like the wrestling games, and I wanted to buy the new one, 2K18, because I thought I haven't bought one in a while. I think the last one I actually physically owned was 2K14, so it's been some time. Because a lot of times with sports games, it's best just to let them buy it every so many years instead of year after year, because there's marginal changes. Much to my surprise, I love the fact they had this crazy roster with Attitude Era characters and Federation era stuff I grew up with, which is mainly what attracted me to buying the game, and the idea that you can wander around backstage and interact. And even though the writing is the worst I've ever seen in any game, where it makes two worlds, the first two worlds look like Shakespeare. I don't know where the hell these people get the writers for these games. It's worse than the WWE product itself. Here's the thing. So you go into Creative Player and you see almost 95% of the move list is locked. And I was like, why is it locked? That's weird. And then I found out, and again, I didn't look up reviews of the game. I didn't read about it because it's a wrestling game. I know what to expect. And lo and behold, it too has a progression-based loot box system. You open up a loot box and boom, you get a body slam and an arm drag and some clothing or whatever. And it's like, are you kidding me? Basically, if I want to create my own character, I get to have basically virtually nothing to work with when it comes to other move list. And that makes no sense to me. That even now, the 2K, a sports title, is now got this loot crate system. I know Forza 7 has it too, which I don't own an Xbox, so sorry that y'all lucked out on that. I think that's ridiculous. But this whole thing with the loot crates in a wrestling title, really? I got body slams and simple moves that every wrestler knows in wrestling school. They learn how to do this stuff, is locked until I unlock it with a physical loot crate. That really savagely curtails anyone's ability to create the person that they want to create with the moves that they want. Taunts and everything's including that, including finishers and everything. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, granted, you could buy for $5 the accelerator, for $10 the enhanced, character creation thing where you have a little bit more unlocked. But it's that's ridiculous. Ponying up season $30 for a season pass. It's which they're only going to add maybe a few things like they do every year. So that season pass is really not worth the money. It's really unbelievable to me that they did that in that game. If 2K17 and 16 and 15 and 14 and 13 and 12 and the wrestling games before it were all successful without you having to lock the moves in some stupid loot system because it's the trend now, which is now becoming the standard. And I've talked about how I had a video last year, standards and practices, how like certain things become the standard. Well, this is happening, people, and this slippery slope is it. We already hit the bottom. Like this is it. Like it's in the wrestling game, it's in Shadow of War, it's in it's in all these games. It's in Battlefront 2, three very large AAA releases. Um, you're not seeing this so much in the UK made games. Spiders is a French company, by the way. This game has no loot boxes. It's $60. There's no DLC. Everything is self-contained. I don't have to worry about nothing when it comes to the Technomancer. It's got my 50-hour gameplay, side quests, all the stuff. It's in there. It's just unbelievable that they have decided to do this whole loot crate system, and the loot crate system is just becoming out of hand. So what's next, people? I mean, it's already in Call of Duty as well. Call of Duty. Never needed it before. Always sold really well. Maybe not as well as some of the past games, but sold enough. There it is. It's in that game too. A AAA, quote-unquote AAA first-person shooter franchise. Is this going to happen? Are we going to see this in the next Madden game? I mean, we already see this kind of price point stuff happening in the NBA 2K18. What is next? Really? Are we going to see this in the next Elder Scrolls? Witcher 4? The next Dark Souls? I mean, is that what we're going to do instead of like looting a body in Fallout 5? We're going to, boom, a crate's going to appear and you got to, oh, maybe I'll get something? Because that's exactly where the gaming industry is headed. Now, I've decided that I will not, as a gamer, support this practice because they never needed to do it before, and their games still made money and was successful. But all of a sudden now they have to, and I think it's wrong. As much as I would love to play Shadow of War, I refuse to buy that game. I will not purchase it. I don't care if the game goes down to $1 and all the DLC is $1, and I only had to pay $5 for everything. I will not support a game that does that practice, especially when they didn't even have the decency. In me watching videos, especially Angry Joe's review, Talion can earn all this loot, but he doesn't show it in the cinemas. So that's just lazy. And I will not support EA's practices when it comes to Star Wars Battlefront 2. I just won't do it. I will not be purchasing it. It will not be in my library. I will not support that. Over a decade's worth of DICE multiplayer style games, Battlefront, Battlefield, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hotline, and even the original and the EA's version of Battlefront Star Wars didn't have any of that in there. It was unnecessary. You ranked up, you unlocked stuff. No loot crates are necessary, and I just find this. So I don't care if the campaign is stellar and the single player stuff is amazing. Won't support it, because if you gamers are going to support these games, you're giving in to the very thing that you all are going on YouTube and complaining about. You're literally complaining about the same stuff that you don't want in the game, and yet you're going out and buying them anyway. You're giving them their money. You're supporting them. Don't support them. Don't buy it. That'd be your best bet. And I find it really a shame that these games and game companies are doing this, because this is going to happen. It's going to be in Elder Scrolls 6. It's going to be in Witcher 4. It's going to be in Fallout 5. It's going to be in Final Fantasy. It's going to be in the Madden games, the hockey games, the racing games, the roleplay games, the action RPGs, And if my beloved Dynasty Warriors has loot crates in it, I'm going to be furious at Omega Force. But I don't think they're going to do that. Well, this has been episode 61 of the Gaming Roundtable. I appreciate you tuning in. This is the Lootbox Debacle Part 2. I'll come at you with another video, hopefully today, and we will see you on the next one. As always, gamers, good gaming.